The year was 2008. Barack Obama became the first African American to be nominated by a major political party for President of the United States, and less than 3 months later also became the first black man elected for the position. California became the second U.S. state after Massachusetts to legalize same-sex marriage after a previous ban was ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. It was something of a banner year for marginalized groups, but if you were more interested in the struggles of straight cisgendered white people, Sam Mendes had you covered with his fifth directorial effort. But Jesse never saw it. Until now. This is Movies I Missed 2008, Episode 6, Revolutionary Road.
I'm Jesse Munoz.
I'm Ryan Miller.
This is Movies I Missed 2008, episode number 6. Today we are talking about the film Revolutionary Road, released December 26th, 2008, running time of 1 hour and 59 minutes. I want to give a warning that we will be discussing all aspects of this movie. That includes spoilers. Revolutionary Road is a 2008 drama directed by Sam Mendes, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, based on the 1961 novel of the same name. Set in the 1950s suburban Connecticut, it follows Frank and April Wheeler, a young couple who seem to have the perfect life, but quietly feel trapped by conformity. When April proposes that they move to Paris to start fresh, their dream of escape sparks tension, resentment, and heartbreak. As their marriage unravels, the story exposes the cost of chasing ideals, a quiet despair beneath suburban perfection.
So now I'm crazy because I don't love you, right? Is that the point?
No, wrong! You're not crazy, and you do love me. That's the point, April.
But I don't. I hate you. You were just some boy who made me laugh at a party once, and now I loathe the sight of you. In fact, if you come any closer, if you touch me or anything, I think I'll scream.
Oh, come on, stop this, April. Fuck you, April! Fuck you and all your hateful...
What are you gonna do now? Are you gonna hit me to show me how much you love me?
Don't worry, I can't be bothered. You're not worth the trouble it would take to hit you. You're not worth the powder it would take to blow you up. You are an empty, hollow shell of a woman. I mean, what the hell are you doing in my house if you hate me so much? Why the hell are you married to me? What the hell are you doing carrying my child? I mean, why didn't you just get rid of it when you had the chance? Because listen to me, I got news for you. I wish to God that you had.
It's a couple of plugs. MoviesIMissed.com is our website. At Movies I Missed Podcast is our handle on both Instagram and YouTube, so subscribe there. And we're available everywhere you get podcasts, so make sure you subscribe on your favorite platform. Ryan.
Yeah.
Back for some good times with Revolutionary Road.
Another feel-good movie.
Yeah, that's all we do here is feel-good movies. So this was my choice. Did you have any interest in seeing Revolutionary Road before?
This was also on my short list. I'll be frank, I didn't, like, all these years, I've never known what the movie was about.
Same, 100%.
But it found its way onto my short list just because Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and Sam Mendes.
Yep.
So,
yeah. That's exactly the same way I felt. It's like it's got two huge stars. I mean, they were both in Titanic, one of the biggest movies of all time, directed by an awesome director who I believe at the time was married to Kate Winslet.
yes, I believe that's true.
So that's kind of how it ended up on
Yeah, I
on the
think
list.
she liked the script and talked him into making it. And I think she's also the one who brought it to Leo and got him on board.
Yeah. So very, very heavily...
so we have Kate Winslet to blame.
Sure. It's all her fault. So directed by Sam Mendes, who did American Beauty, Road to Perdition, Jarhead, Skyfall, Spectre. Just a pretty awesome director. I don't know if I love everything that he's done, but like just like where I don't know, where does he fall? It feels like he's like short of like the Chris Nolan, Quentin Tarantino. What's the dude that directed Dune? Denis
Villeneuve.
Yeah, I feel like he's like not on that level. But maybe I'm wrong. Do you put him in that same sort of category of like top tier directors?
It's kind of weird. Like, I feel like if you were like, okay, name like the biggest directors of the day, like he would never come to mind for some reason. But like when I think the name Sam Mendes, I do think like Prestige.
Yeah.
And he does make like really good movies. Jarhead is admittedly one I've been wanting to rewatch for a long time. I've seen it once and I don't remember much, but like, you know, I feel like coming right out of the gate with American Beauty, a movie which like took the world by storm, and you know, you can debate its validity or how it's aged or whatever, but I still think has interesting things to say, and at least I don't think anybody could debate that it did have interesting things to say at the time when it came out.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, it because like Skyfall and Spectre, these are really big movies.
Yep.
But like Road to Perdition, solid film. Jarhead, solid film. 1917, it feels like it was a huge deal the year it came out. Now it almost feels like no one talks about it anymore.
Right.
So it almost feels like he peaked early, because I think a lot of people probably wouldn't know if you were like, who directed Skyfall? They'd probably be like, oh, that's my favorite Daniel Craig Bond. Who directed it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Would be my guess, outside of, you know, Letterboxd.
Exactly.
But, so yeah, it feels like he like came out swinging, and I wouldn't say it's been diminishing returns at all, but I almost wonder if that's not an opinion some people would hold.
Yeah. What do you think is your favorite of his? Is it Skyfall?
Well, see, Skyfall.
You're not even a big Skyfall fan, right?
I'm not, and it's not because of him. It's because I have very specific feelings about and opinions about James Bond.
Yeah.
I really loved Spectre of his two films.
Okay.
But I mean, I still do like American Beauty quite a bit. I remember rewatching Road to Perdition like 5 or 6 years ago for the Triple Threat Theater podcast and really falling in love with that one all over again. Yeah. I mean, I thought 1917 was great.
Yes,
but
so
it's like a movie I saw in the theater. I was like, holy cow, this is great. I probably gave it 5 stars, bought the Blu-ray, and like haven't even thought about watching it again. Like, I don't know why that movie has that, like, that
it's
impact.
It's a war movie, right? Like, it feels
but it's
like
a really interestingly done and artistic war movie. Like,
no, I totally get it. But the war movies can kind of meld into just like one. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
unless you're Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, for sure. The one that stands
I don't
out.
know. I don't exactly know how to put it into words, but it is like, you know.
I feel like he should be on that level, but it's not like people are talking about like, oh, when's the next Sam Mendes movie? Like he had a movie a couple years ago.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think what you just said, it's like you hear Chris Nolan's name, it's an event. You hear Tarantino's name, it's an event. Scorsese, Spielberg, I feel like these are events. And even like Paul Thomas Anderson, you know, doesn't have a movie come out every year. He has, you know, one battle after another. It's an event. I feel like for some reason Sam Mendes isn't that way. Like he makes good movies, but it's almost like I don't view his entire filmography as one thing. It's like I like all these individual movies, but I don't think of it as like his oeuvre. I don't know.
It's weird. It's just it's one of those things that because we're talking about this movie that I thought of, but I feel like there should be a little bit more prestige, and it's just not quite there. And I don't know what could change that, because 1917 was big. It won a bunch of awards, I think. At least it was nominated for a bunch of awards.
And Skyfall fucking blew the doors off. Totally. I know people were disappointed by Spectre because they're wrong, but
sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. I think my favorite would probably be 1917. I thought 1917 was pretty spectacular. Just
so did
everything that they did in making that movie. Like the one camera shot is kind of played out a little bit. It feels like the oneer kind of, I don't know, everyone's trying to do it. But what they did with that movie was the way they told that story. It was just pretty spectacular.
I mean, you know, we're not talking about 1917. We're talking about Revolutionary Road. But to what you were just saying, like, I agree that, like, especially after, like, Children of Men, everybody was like, let's do our long take. And then you get stuff like Atomic Blonde and whatnot. And the questions begin to arise. Well, like, okay, well, if you're using, like, CG to stitch a bunch of stuff together and it just looks like a long take, what is really the point of it? Is it just a gimmick? Is there any artistry to it? The thing about 1917 is, like, it is a gimmick, but it's almost like after the first 20 minutes, you forget that it's even happening.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a good movie either way. That's just the way that they chose to tell the story. And I remember having that feeling watching it, like I was just being swept up in the story and whatnot. And it's like, I wasn't thinking about it constantly.
Yeah. And the movie
which
just
begs the question,
great.
Did it need to be there at all? But, you know, I don't know. I like that movie.
Yeah, I think it adds something to the movie. Just because it you know, Saving Private Ryan isn't a one shot, and they never tried to do that. But there's that feeling of, it feels like you're on the beach with them. And 1917 is like that times 1,000 in a way. It might not be as good as Saving Private Ryan, but still it has that sort of like, we're with these two characters throughout the entire movie and their perspective. So I don't know. To me, it worked really well. The whole team that worked on 1917 worked on this movie, and there's a reason why this movie also looks really, really good. Richard Deakins was a cinematographer.
Roger Deakins.
Excuse me. The Shawshank Redemption, Fargo, Oh Brother, We're Out There, Skyfall. I mean, what you think about Skyfall story-wise can be thrown out the window.
I like Skyfall just fine.
The look of the movie is spectacular. Skyfall looks beautiful.
Sicario.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049.
And then 1917. That dude is just like peak. Obviously an amazing cinematographer. And then the music. The music in this movie is not notable, but it's so somber. It's almost like just like a couple piano notes throughout a lot of the movie in a very like depressing way. But it's done by Thomas Newman, who also did the music for The Shawshank Redemption, American Beauty, Green Mile, Road to Perdition, Finding Nemo, Wall-E, Skyfall, Spectre in 1917. So just a crew of really talented, like technically outside of storytelling, story and plot and whatnot, just the technical aspects of what they bring to these films is really well done. And there's shots in this movie where this movie is just a relationship drama.
It's a lot of people talking.
But there's some shots that are like, man, this is awesome. Like there's this shot with Leo coming down like Grand Central Station, and he's just standing there watching as everyone comes by. And it's just like the way it's framed and everything that's going on within the frame and the colors and everything just worked really, really cool. Worked really, really well, and just had this really cool feel, especially in the moment, because he has like the sense of freedom. Like I think he's like decided to quit his job at this point, and the feeling that he has, because we see earlier he's in that same shot and he's in the crowd and just one of the many people trudging off to do a job that they don't like. You know what I mean? And so there's like all these like cool shots or framings of shots, or, you have two people having like some crazy conversations in this movie, or some deep, heavy conversations. And it's framed in a way that's just so cinematic. It's just so well done.
I think one of the most impressive or intriguing visual things about it is, the whole concept of the movie is like, this like 1950s idealized, suburbia, like husband and wife. He goes off wearing his suit and she stays home and makes the home, and they have the 2.5 kids or whatever, and the white picket fence and all that. But really inside the home, it's like there's so many dark, fucked up things going on. And it's like, for the most part, regardless of whatever horrible things are being said in the home, it's always just this gorgeous light coming in from the sun, diffused by like the white blinds. And it looks like a Norman Rockwell painting, but it plays like Synecdoche, New York from last week or something. Like it's so
it does.
Dark and fucked up, but it looks like picturesque all the time. And I just think that's a fantastic dichotomy for this movie.
100%, man. Regardless of what we think about this movie, visually it's spectacular. Like these guys know what they're doing. They're master storytellers. And this, honestly, one of the reasons why I brought up like, is Sam Mendes on the level of those other guys, is because you watch a movie like this where it's mostly just Leo and Kate having hard arguments, and yet it's shot in a way that's so spectacular and so mundane at the same time. You know what I mean? Like you have these shots that you were describing, and it's like, how do you do it? And just technical wise, it's just really, really, really good. Movie stars Kate Winslet as April Wheeler. We don't have to go over her. She's Kate Winslet. I mean, both the leads, Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, the two leads of this movie. The weight is mostly on their back. I think Kate would probably be the lead if I was to say of the two, but I feel like it's from her perspective a little bit more. But
I feel like Kate is the emotional lead, and Leo is like, he's so big in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like this commanding, over-the-top performance, and she gets there at times, but again, similar to her character and how it's like in this era, the woman's just supposed to be happy and support the man and, not cause trouble. God, there's so many scenes where a lesser actress just wouldn't be able to tell how much is going on behind her eyes while she's trying to keep her mouth shut.
I don't know how she does it.
She really I mean, Leo's good, but again,
Yeah.
he's like, I think it's easier to do what he's doing in the movie, but god damn it.
No, there's so many times where she has to
was
smile.
amazing in this.
She has to smile because she has to play the good housewife, right? Like she has to be the good housewife. And she has a smile on her face, but behind her eyes is either like anger or just like an emotion that is being conveyed that is just like raw and unfiltered through this like grinning smile. It's unbelievable. Like her performance is unbelievable, to be honest.
It's like if you watch Futurama, there's a character in that show who I think his name is like the gelatinous blob or something. He's a big slime monster, and the voice is done by Frank Welker. And Frank Welker has this, he's a voice actor. He has this incredible ability where he can make two sounds with his voice at the same time. And it's like, you'd think it was something done with a computer, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like amazing that he can do it. And I'd never heard anybody do it before him. And somehow she's doing the version of that that's visual, not auditory.
Yeah.
She has this incredible ability in this movie to portray two emotions at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we as the audience are seeing it, but the characters, especially her husband, don't see it.
Gosh, the first scene, we see them like meeting, right? We see their initial meet. And then the next, I think it's like the next scene, they have this huge argument on the side of the road.
Yeah, they've been, all of a sudden we cut from them seeing one another to they've been together for however many years and they have two kids.
Yeah.
And now they're fighting.
And that scene, just to kick off the movie, is explosive in a way that's like, tells you everything that this movie is going to be about without telling you, like without being explicit. And I was just like, Leo feels like a complete asshole in it.
Feels like, I think that's the idea.
I mean, she does these. She's an actress, or she wants to be an actress, and she does these like community theater basically. And Leo goes to see the play. It's not very good, and he's not shy about letting her know that it's not good, and like to give it up. And it's just so heartbreaking. As like, it's just so rough. So Leo is one of these guys who's, recently won an Academy, or I say recently, it's probably like 10 years now, but he's been around for so long, right? Like, and it was like, when's he going to win the Oscar? I had a hard time with younger Leo. I feel like I didn't appreciate the work that he was doing when he was younger, and he looks young in this movie.
It's interesting because I'm so used to him now as like, he's older, obviously. I'm not trying to degrade anybody here, but he's got like a kind of pudgy face these days, the age he is now. And I have this clear vision in my mind of him from like Titanic. Mm-hmm. And then there's this middle part of his career. And I don't know if it was like the time period or whatnot, but this just kept making me think of, this is like Catch Me If You Can era.
Yes. Yep.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
But
he just still looks like a baby though, right? Like he's got the baby face. So he doesn't have...
like he's just breaking out of the baby because he's always got like a 5 o'clock shadow in this. But he's still like young and he's like really thin. And it's like these days, it's like he could be like trying to be like the most gorgeous specimen to get roles, or he could just have pure acting talent. And I feel like he's more of a Jack Nicholson or someone in that regard, where it's like I don't think he's this physical specimen the way that he used to be, but nobody cares because he's so fucking good. Just put him in everything.
Yeah.
I just think this is I think before he reached quite that point. Like everyone always knew he was good, but he was still like proving himself or something.
Yeah. I feel like this is the era because I didn't see a lot of these movies in the the mid 2000s and stuff. It even took me a while to see Catch Me If You Can, where I feel like it was Django Unchained maybe, where I begin to like really appreciate
wow, yeah,
how good he was. And then he does like Wolf of Wall Street. Revenant is fine. That's the one he won the Oscar for, but I don't love the Revenant. I think it's fine. But like Wolf of Wall Street, he's spectacular in, really good in One Battle After Another, which came out this last year. And just, I feel like this era of the last like 10 years of Leo is when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he's spectacular in. This era is where I really started to appreciate and seeing that he's like a really good actor. Then you go back and watch Revolutionary Road and realize, no, the dude's been doing it for the whole time. I just kind of missed out on it. Like he's not as good. Like he gets shown by Kate Winslet by like miles, but he's still really good at what he's doing in this movie.
Well, what about all of his like Scorsese movies.
Yeah, The Departed, I think, is good. Obviously, I really loved him in that. Killers of the Flower Moon, he was really, really good in. I like that quite a bit.
But even going back, like, what about The Aviator? Or
I haven't seen The Aviator.
You should check that one off the list sometime.
Yeah, I definitely need to see it.
What do you call it? Gangs in New York, their first movie together, I think.
I haven't seen Gangs in New York. I've seen parts of it, but I haven't seen all of it. But see, that's what I'm saying. I feel like
you said you haven't seen a lot of.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff, I feel like I missed out. So I was like, I don't think he's that good. You know, he was the Titanic guy. He was Romeo and Juliet was fun, but it's fine. You know, like some of his earlier stuff in the late 90s, I'd seen a lot of that stuff, and then I kind of missed out on the mid 2000s, and then I've caught up with the last 10 years or so. And Django Unchained for me was like, whoa, this guy can do some stuff. And so it's nice to go back and like say, I watched the Spielberg one, but we just talked about
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. He's like really, really good in that. And then I watched, this movie and see that, man, the dude's been doing it for the whole time. I feel like I just missed out on how good he was. It was Kate Winslet. I kind of always knew she was really good. I'm trying to think of some of the stuff that I've seen her in. Eternal Sunshine, I love her in that. I'm trying to think of some of the current stuff, but she's always been really, really good.
Yeah, I unfortunately feel like she's not an actress that I like pay a ton of attention to. Yeah. I also feel like potentially she, just isn't generally in the kinds of movies that I watch or that I gravitate towards.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
But like, did we watch Heavenly Creatures for Sidetracked years and years ago? Okay, yeah, I mean, she was good in that. That's
pretty
early.
Young in that one for sure. So let's look up some of her current stuff. She's in the Avatar movies. I haven't seen those.
I think she's in the second one, not the first one.
Oh, okay. Is she one of those blue creature things?
A Navi?
Yeah.
Frankly, I can't remember her part in that movie, so I'm guessing she is because I don't. But I may be wrong. I saw it once in the theater. I haven't seen it since. I don't remember.
Yeah, there was a movie a couple years back called Lee that had Andy Samberg in it, where she's like a war photographer or something like that. I wanted to see that, but I never ended up seeing that. She's in Steve Jobs, the Danny Boyle film. I really liked that, but that was a pretty small role.
Man, I see. Like I watched that movie in the theater. I really liked it. Bought it on Blu-ray. Haven't ever looked at it again. So
yeah. She was in The Reader from this same year. Have you seen that one?
No, I think that did make my short list just because of, I remember it being popular at the time and people saying it was good, but didn't make the cut for this season of the show.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of her movies are movies that I have zero interest in, like something called Blackbird. Just looking at the poster, it's like, ugh, I don't know about that one. Birds of a Feather.
She's just over there, in all these, we're watching, superhero movies, and she's over here doing like amazing performances and dramas, and we're just missing out on it.
Totally.
Probably.
So it was good to see her in this. Catherine Hahn, Agatha All Along.
Yeah.
Is
Parks
in this
and Rec.
movie. Yeah.
She's just, I don't know how many things I saw her in before I even really knew who she was.
Yep.
I feel like the thing that made me like see her as an actress is like the first time I watched through Parks and Rec.
Yeah, she's so good.
And now it's like every other thing I watch, it's like, holy shit, I didn't know she was in this. She's awesome.
I think Step Brothers came out this year. She's in that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's been around forever. But I love Catherine Hahn. She's playing a pretty small role, but I just always enjoy when she's on screen, especially now that I know who she is.
Yeah.
Her husband's played by the infamous David Harbour, who is, do you know much about what's going on with him recently?
I've seen rumblings and there's debates about who's in the right and what the actual details are, because I guess no one's really saying who's involved. But yeah, there's something weird happening.
I mean, Millie Bobby Brown took out a restraining or like a complaint about harassment and stuff.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Like she never came forward with that information. Like they wanted to keep it quiet, but then like somebody else did. And I don't know enough about it to comment.
It's just crazy that it's coming out. Like it got leaked right before the premiere of the final season of Stranger Things. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys, like if I had watched this in 2008, no clue who David Harbour was, right? Like zero clue. But now that I know who he is, it's like, oh my gosh, David Harbour's in this.
He's another one where like I watch older stuff and I see him and I'm like, oh yeah, I saw like 10 things with him before I knew who he was. The first thing that really turned me on to him was the Liam Neeson movie, A Walk Among the Tombstones, which I feel like does not get the...
He's in that?
Yeah, he's one of the villains.
Oh.
There's like two bad guys and he's one of them.
Interesting.
And I think that might have come out like right before Stranger Things or something. I don't remember the exact year, but it came out in Liam Neeson's I'm like a dumb action star era.
Yeah.
And it is a movie where he plays like kind of a detective character, but I personally think that movie is like on a level above like all of the just like fist fight movies that he does.
I don't know. That movie's really good. I don't remember David Harbour being in it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't give that movie the time of day because they think, oh, it's just another Taken or whatever.
No, it was better than Taken.
I think it's a really good movie. It's like surprisingly dark. And David Harbour, I just remember watching it and being like, who is this guy? He's fucking creepy. And then like the next thing I know, he's Hopper on
Stranger Things.
On Stranger Things. And then he's everywhere all of a sudden.
Yeah, Thunderbolts recently. Kathy Bates doing a triple Titanic reuniting with Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie as Helen Gibbons. She plays like the neighbor realtor lady.
Yep.
She's always good. Just always brings gravitas to whatever she's in.
Yeah. She's one of these people where I'm like, I have no idea how old she is, but I feel like at any given time, she's an old lady. But like, then I see her in something 20 years later and like, she's still kicking. Like, I know she's still out there acting, but like, this movie was 2008, so it's going on 20 years ago. But like, it was right around the time of the movie about Schmidt where she plays like a really old woman, I think. And I'm like, she looks... I don't know how old she is in this, but like I would have thought she was way older or they put a shitload of makeup on her. I don't know. But like, I never know with her. She's just always around and she's always good. Yep. Like she's,
you always know what you're going to get from Kathy Bates, right? Like, she's 77 now.
Man.
This was
less than 20 years ago. So she was in her 50s, but I mean, she just, her, the character that she plays in the movie and how like weirdly chipper she is all the time. She's just, I don't know. Never would I expect it because I think the movie that I identify with her so much is fucking Misery.
Yep.
And she's terrifying in that movie.
Yes, she is. Michael Shannon plays her son in this movie. Another person who I feel like, would I have known who he was in 2008? Maybe?
My first recollection of him is the movie 8 Mile. He plays the guy
He's in 8 Mile?
Yeah, he's dating Eminem's mom.
Kim Basinger?
Yeah. So he's like the boyfriend that Eminem's character doesn't like, and the whole thing throughout the movie is he's like, you shouldn't be with him, like you should get away from him, and she's like, he's got this money coming from like a a lawsuit or something like any day now, and then as soon as like Eminem like beats the shit out of him and throws him out, then he gets the money, and then she's pissed at him for making him leave, but he's like a total shitbag.
I mean, he's been in a million things. I'm just trying to think if I would have known who he was in 2008. I don't think so. I'm looking at his filmography.
Yeah. I think the movie Bug was before this as well.
Yeah, 2006.
I saw that in the theater. So, like, I knew who he was and kind of liked him as just, like, because he's got a unique look and everything. Mm-hmm. So, like, when he started to pop off around the time of Man of Steel, I just remember being like, this is awesome. I liked this guy for years. And
yeah. I think I'd probably be Man of Steel for me, like looking at this stuff that he's in.
Yeah, well, that was like he became a star, like a big name at that point.
Because on all the other movies, he's like a second fiddle or a villain, right? Like,
well, he's a lead in Bug. Not that I assume you've seen that, but I think he might have been the lead or had at least a large part in the movie The Salton Sea. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he had like bigger roles, but it was in smaller movies.
He's been working since '93. He was in Groundhog Day as his first movie.
Right, I did read that.
Yeah, they're at the like party, and Bill Murray gets them tickets to WrestleMania. He's like a newlywed, and they're like super excited about tickets to WrestleMania. I remember that. But yeah, I mean, Pearl Harbor, Vanilla Sky, 8 Mile, Bad Boys 2. He's been in a ton of things before this,
and now he's just this great character actor who can just like pop up in something like Bike Riders and be just like a great, memorable character.
Mm-hmm. Totally. And he's great in this as like a crazy man.
Yeah. He's in crazy. 2 scenes and he's undeniable.
He's crazy for the time, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, it's probably like he was depressed and then they zapped him 37 times or whatever he said. If anything, they made him crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dylan Baker's in this movie in a small role. You know him as
Connors in Spider-Man 2
possibly
and
going to
3.
be Spider-Man or the Lizard in Spider-Man, but it never came to be.
Yeah.
And then we have Zoe Kazan as Maureen. That's the girl that Leo has an affair with.
He has an affair with, yeah.
Yeah, the secretary. And she was in The Big Sick, which was a great movie from, I don't know, about 10 years ago. So that's the cast. It's really Kate and Leo, though. They're the stars of the flick. So I give the summary. Give me your initial thoughts about your viewing of this.
Well, right off the bat, like we talked about, we see them like literally lock eyes, and then the next thing you know, we jump forward into their relationship. I loved that. I loved just like getting like we understand like, oh, it was like almost a love at first sight thing, and then we see the reality of the situation however many years later.
Yep. Like
you said, that scene on the side of the road where they argue, I feel like that's really setting us up for like, this is what the movie is, guys. And then again, like I went into this not really knowing what it was, like all these years. Like the title Revolutionary Road doesn't tell you anything about the movie exactly. And so like, you know, it's obviously it's them fighting, and I get right off the bat, like I kind of mentioned before, that like, you know, this era of like, you know, American like
the nuclear
pride
family
or whatever. Yeah. Just like everything's perfect, and look at all the like nicely cut grass and like all the dresses that the women wear and whatnot. And they're going to explore how like it ain't all sunshine and roses. And then she comes out with the whole like, okay, our lives kind of suck. Let's move to Paris. Not for any real reason. Let's just make a change. You always said you liked Paris. I just want something different. I hate living this like suburban life. And like he kind of agrees to it, and it seems like it's going to happen. And, you know, they start to tell people about it.
Was there any part of you that thought they're actually going to go to Paris?
No, for sure. And I was about to say, like, they're like telling everybody about it, and they're excited, but you can see the reticence in everybody else's faces. And like when they're not in the room, people are like, I don't know, that seems like kind of a frivolous thing to do. Like, yada, yada, yada. And like, I had this real fucking pit in my stomach at that point, like 20 something minutes into the movie. Like I didn't know where it was going to go. And I was just like, they're setting it up like these people have these stars in their eyes, and whatever it is, things are just going to turn fucking awful for them. Like that's all I could think, is this movie is just setting me up to fall. Right. And I really did have this like impending sense of dread, and I didn't expect it to go the way that it did. I mean, this movie basically becomes just two people with differing ideals and opinions arguing the whole time, which, you know, it's emotionally dense, but I was almost expecting it to somehow, I don't want to say be even worse, because the way the movie goes is fucking awful. I was almost expecting more of like a bomb blast of an event to go off or something and like ruin it. Like, you know, she talks about how when she's convincing him, she's like, look, we have enough money from your job saved up that like we could live for 6 months without you having to work. And it's really easy to get like a high paying secretarial job over in France if we move there. And it feels like they're set up to win. And I was waiting for like something was going to happen. One of the kids gets sick and all their money goes into that, and all of a sudden they're destitute, and like something outside of their control was going to ruin everything.
Kind of.
Not really, though.
The pregnancy,
it ends up being everything is like within their control, and that almost does make it worse. Because, you know, obviously he doesn't want to go. And they do raise the question at some point, you know, she gets pregnant, and that's potentially going to stop them from going. And Michael Shannon is like, I kind of bet that he got her pregnant so that they couldn't go. And like that hadn't occurred to me until he said it. But it's like, whether or not that was the reason, they had an out, which isn't the most ideal thing. But like, she was willing to, you know, have an abortion so that they could go and still live their plans. But at that point, whether or not it was Leo's fault, like if he intended for her to get pregnant or not, he now had a way to like keep her under his thumb and like stay safe and secure. Whereas if it was like, oh, some freak accident and one of the kids is in the hospital or something like that, that would have been out of their control. That's what I was kind of expecting. I was expecting there to be some big boom. No, now it's not going to happen, and we just watch them be miserable about it.
Yeah.
But instead, the misery comes from the fact that the two of them obviously fucking hate each other.
It's true.
And if it was like a modern day movie, they probably just would have gotten divorced and everybody would have been better off for it. But it's because of the time and place that they're in and like their fucking resentment for one another, especially on his part. It's like it was like the same end result, but like a completely different path to get there than I was expecting. And it's like more sinister for it.
It's funny. I didn't even put together the idea of, I know they mentioned it, but I didn't really think about him because they showed the one time like they decided
they
to
fuck on the counter.
Yeah. They decide to like, we're going to do this. And then they're like, it's almost like renews their love, right? Like it reignites the flame and they have a moment, and they showed that one specifically where they do that. And then of course that leads to the pregnancy. I didn't think that was on purpose. And I honestly think that Leo wanted to go. I think what happens at his job, right? Like he finally like gives up and just kind of phones it in, and turns out like that is actually what worked for him to like get a promotion. Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting because I feel like for the first time in his life, he felt like he was actually doing something. You know what I mean? Like she wanted him, she's like, you don't like your job. And he agreed, I don't like my job. But then all of a sudden he does like his job because he's not doing what his dad did anymore. He's elevated it, right? And
I don't think he liked his job as much as he liked that somebody else was like giving him props or paying attention to him. Because like obviously, in addition to maybe not being interested in the work, he's getting in trouble for it. His heart's not really in it. And then he just basically pulls this, fuck you move. It's like kind of Office spacey where he just like stops caring. Right. And then he like fails upwards, and all of a sudden there's this like head honcho guy who's like, oh, you're the bee's knees. This is a crackerjack job or whatever. And I don't think it has anything to do with the job. I think it's like he got approval from another man.
Right. And there's so much of this is about masculinity too, right? Like the idea of like she was going to make the money and he was not going to work. Like what is this? That's nonsense, right? Like that just totally upends everything, and no one can understand it. Again, a sign of the times for sure. But it's like if my wife is like, "Hey, I'm going to work,"
that was her way to get him to agree as well, for sure. Right.
But if Jenny's like, "I'll work and you don't have to," I'm like, "Sign me up, bro!" Like this is not the 50s anymore. But I'm all for it. But just the tension between the two, like they obviously, it's just so interesting, right? Like they attempt, there is genuine attraction and there is maybe love, but there is so much more resentment because it feels like they're just on so opposite paths. And Kate Winslet just wants more from life and she can't handle it. And I feel like at that time in the 1950s, she would be seen as a nut, right? Like I thought they might end up putting her in the institute with Michael
they
Shannon.
certainly dabbled with that when he was talking about how like if you need a therapist, it'll be paid for or whatever. And like, I feel like a woman goes to therapy in that era, then it's not long before they're giving her the old zappy.
Yeah. That's just so crazy that happened for like real. Like my grandma who suffered from bipolar had was placed in these kind of homes and was zapped, and it's just insane to me the stuff that they did to people to make them quote unquote better.
Yeah, you ever see the movie Changeling, the Clint Eastwood movie with Angelina Jolie?
No. Yeah, is that the one where she loses her kid?
Yeah, it's like her kid disappears or something, and then it's like they find him, but I think it's like not really her kid, and she's the only one who sees it. And so she keeps being like, this isn't my child. And then they think she's crazy and they like lock her up in one of these places. And I remember there being a scene in that movie where they're like, all right, we're going to give her the shock treatment. And like, she has no control. She's put in this facility she doesn't want to be in. No one will listen to her. They're strapping her down to a table and they're about to zap this completely sane, normal person. And I just remember feeling just the intensity of that and like this feeling of, oh my God, my skin's fucking crawling. Like there's no way out of this.
They were going to do it to Dorothy in Return to Oz that we watched.
That's true.
They were ready to strap her up and get Oz out of her brain, but it's just nuts. And so we're just with him this entire time of this journey. They decide that they're going to do it on his birthday, the night that he decided to cheat on his wife. When he walked back in to the door on his birthday, after sleeping with the secretary, and his 2 kids are there and they're singing happy birthday to him. And it's just the pit. There's a pit in his stomach. It was just like, this knot just kind of just crept right up. But so they go through all the motions, and then, you know, things, as you mentioned, she gets pregnant, and it sort of changes everything from that moment on. And with him also getting the odd job promotion.
Yeah.
And then we learn that David Harbour is secretly in love with Kate Winslet the entire time. And then they screw in the car, and he was like, not just wanted to sleep with her, but he was like completely in love with her.
Yeah.
It's just a series of events of like, if only people could just like be honest and share what they safely share what they're feeling without having to fit the mold of we need to present everything as being perfect, and this is the way that we do things, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's really just a write up on that sort of the fantasy of what suburban life was offering. So
yeah, it's kind of interesting. In addition to the fact that both of them are just like completely gut-wrenchingly depressing, there's kind of a similarity between this and Synecdoche, New York, which we watched last week for the show.
Yeah.
In that it's like, I kind of talked about how I felt that Philip Seymour Hoffman's character had almost this like fear of change and could never commit, and that's why it seemed like they were saying like his show never took off and he ended up just feeling like he wasted his life. And Leonardo DiCaprio is kind of in the same situation in this, where it's like, it feels like he does agree to take a chance because there's literally nothing going on, but then as soon as there's like the slightest hint of like, oh, maybe I can remain in this safe little bubble that we've created for me, but I won't be completely miserable because it'll at least feel like someone cares, like his boss or whatever. Meanwhile, she, seemingly just like Catherine Keener's character, like wants bigger and better things and to take chances, and like literally Catherine Keener moves to Russia and just disappears out of his life. And it feels like, you know, if this movie were a modern day instead of the time period it takes place in, she probably just would have been fucking gone, and that probably would have been better for everybody.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, she'd still be alive.
It's just like 2 movies about like, hey, you should know when shit ain't working and do something about it. Like,
right.
None of these people should have been together.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's why I was saying, it's like, if an outside force had caused all these problems, it's one thing, but the fact that these people just can't get out of their own fucking way, and they just make things worse and worse and worse for themselves, that, to be honest, I didn't know where the movie was going to go, but at the end, when they have that huge fight, and then the next morning he wakes up and she's just playing like, you know, nice homemaker, making him breakfast and all. And they like focus on that shot of her whisking the eggs. Yeah. I thought that she put something in it and she was just going to like murder, suicide, poison the 2 of them. I was like, she's been pushed too far.
Yeah. I thought she was just going to commit suicide. I mean, she gives herself the abortion,
which results in her death. But
but she wasn't trying to commit suicide.
Yeah.
At least that's what I mean.
I think she went into it knowing it was a possibility, but at that point she was like, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, like, that breakfast scene, I was like, he's going to get up to leave for work and collapse in the hallway, and then she's just going to sit there and go. And like, the kids were at a friend's house or whatever, and she had already committed to like, I don't care if I kill the baby inside of me if it makes my life better. When he said scrambled eggs and she had the bowl and it's like this shot focusing on her whisking and he's watching her, and I'm like, what is the tone we're in right now? I just don't know what to think.
See, I didn't think that, but I was so shocked is that he still has the inability to not understand what's really going on.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I won. She's normal again.
Yeah, he thought everything was like, oh, she does love me. It's just the gall of thinking like, oh, we worked it out without ever working it out, right? Like, oh, she's come to her senses and he's
drinking the 1950s or whatever middle America Kool-Aid.
Yes. And that was what I was so focused on, is like I knew, because I'm watching a movie and we've seen this character through our modern lens struggle so much with her identity as a housewife in the 50s, and him never being able to pick it up, never able to realize it even until the end, right? Like,
yeah.
So, man, it's heartbreaking. It's heavy, but damn, was it a good one? It's like such a good watch. Like, I'm just so connected to what was going on in a way that was just, I don't know, the entire time I'm like in it. And the sense of dread is always there. The score, I think, plays a part in that, because it's just these like few keys that are just like ominous in almost a horror movie sense. But it's not a horror movie, but is it a heavy drama? So
yeah. Something that this movie, it reminded me a lot of, because it's heavy and it's just like a lot of arguing, but it's like hyper compelling at the same time, is, did you see Marriage Story with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver?
Yes.
Like, that's another movie. I don't remember who it was, but I remember when I saw it, I really liked it. And I was talking with a friend, and he was like, all that movie was two people arguing. Why did you like it? And I was just, enamored with the performances, and, just like getting to see two people just kind of go at it and chew the scenery together. And, it's dark and it's shitty, but at the same time, it was just compelling. And I feel like this movie is comparable to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's a great comparison. It's not
this one's even darker, but
yeah, that one wasn't as dark, but this one is. Both of them are just like captivating performances about broken people, and man, they're just really, really good.
Yeah, and just have these argument scenes and two people who are incredible actors just go at it.
Yeah, the stuff that Kate Winslet does, man, like
she was the big takeaway from me for this.
Like, holy crap, the range of emotion that someone can have, both with their words and without, is just like masterclass. It really is.
Yeah. And she just, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I just never noticed things about her before, like what we were talking about with like her facial expressions, but she's got like incredibly emotive eyes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's weirdly the opposite of Leonardo DiCaprio, where he's almost just got like a darkness in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but she can do so much just with like an eyebrow. Performance is great all around. And even, Catherine Hahn and David Harbour aren't in it a ton.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, but she is kind of the ideal that Leo wants Kate Winslet to be. And then David Harbour is almost the one with like a little more yearning in their relationship. So it's almost like the gender roles are flipped from Leo and Kate. Mm-hmm. But then it's just like he like is a more level-headed person who just understands how to deal with that stuff, when to say something and when not to. And Leo is just like he has no filter or something.
Yeah.
Like, I kept waiting for I thought for sure that scene where he stayed late at work when Leo's character did, and Zoe Kazan walks in, and it's just like the two of them. I thought for sure she was going to be like, I'm pregnant, and that was going to like throw a wrench in things too. Yeah. Like, I kept waiting for that to come back, but it really results in nothing, except at the end, he openly tells Kate Winslet that he fucked around on her, I guess thinking, oh, she'll appreciate my honesty. And that was like the last straw for her.
That was like one of my favorite parts of the movie. That whole conversation where she like finally tells him like, I don't love you. You can do whatever you want. That
she's like, what do you want me to do with this information?
Yeah, like almost like the dead eyes that she had through that conversation of just being so broken at that point, and knowing like this is going nowhere. Like, she, you'd expect someone being told that he's, if he comes in and tells her that he's been sleeping around, you'd expect a normal person to like react with rage and she was just she's so checked out. It doesn't matter. She was so dead to it. Like, it didn't even affect her at all.
If I'm not mistaken, because she's like setting the table, I want to say that is immediately followed by the second Michael Shannon scene where Kathy Bates and her husband bring Michael Shannon over again. Yeah. So it's like they've just had that revelation. Yeah. And now they have to like put on a happy face. And it's like, because Michael Shannon's also fucked up, he sees through it all.
I just love, that's another part I loved, is Michael Shannon being able to just so clear of a picture of what is actually happening.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Oh, and we talked about like interesting visuals and stuff earlier in the review, but that scene, like right at the end of the scene where they're about to leave, and it's like Kate Winslet in the foreground still sitting there, and the focus is on her. And like out of focus in the background is Kathy Bates and her husband on either side of the door. And Michael Shannon keeps like turning to walk away, take 2 steps, and he'll come back and say something else.
Yeah.
And they just stay out of focus. So it's like less about what he's saying and more about Kate Winslet's reactions to it in the foreground. And then it's like finally the focus shifts onto Michael Shannon for like the killing blow, the last thing he says before he leaves, which is like something like, what do I have to be thankful for? I'm thankful I'm not that kid. And he points at like her stomach, and I was just like, fuck.
Oh, man, that was brutal.
And just like, what a way to frame that shot and just like finally focus on him for that line. Oh my God.
That's so good.
Visually incredible.
What do you think Catherine Hahn was thinking through this all? Because there's that scene where after they have like dinner with the Wheelers and are told that they're moving to Paris, she's like emotionally wrecked, right? Like,
I think she's got this, she views hers as like this perfect little life. She's got the kids, the house, the husband, and this other young couple that everybody outwardly thinks is like this great couple. And she's like losing her friends. But I think on the whole, she's pretty oblivious to the whole thing. It was
weird to me that she was breaking down, though. Like, I feel like there was I don't know if it was jealousy or maybe the apple cart being upset
I think that's mainly it, would be my guess, is because she seemed like a pretty shallow or vapid person. Like, she didn't need a lot to be happy, and she had what she needed. But then, like,
so is she oblivious to the fact that her husband doesn't really love her either?
Oh, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think that the roles are flipped. I think that Leo is oblivious to everything that Kate Winslet feels.
Yes.
And I think that Catherine Hahn is oblivious to everything that her husband, David Harbour, feels.
Yeah.
But again, I also think that he's doing a way better job of hiding it.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
For better or worse, I mean, he's kind of lying to his wife and himself.
Yeah, they're broken, but I guess surviving. I like to think of this movie as a unofficial sequel to Titanic, where they both survived. Jack didn't die, and then they go on, and this is the life that they ended up.
So
living.
you watch Titanic right up until the end, and then you cut when he like sinks, like right before he sinks, and just have a black screen with white text that says Jack made it through okay, and then ...
Yes, yep.
You cut out the very opening scene of this where they see each other across the room, and you just go right to her performing in the play.
Yep.
And then you have a perfect like 5-hour.
Yep. Yeah. They have a passionate affair on that boat, and it turns into, I mean, it's like there's like a 30-year gap, so we have to just fudge things a little bit, but maybe even longer. But yeah, it's the unofficial sequel to Titanic. Even with Kathy Bates. Yeah, she survived and became the realtor. All right, we're I think we enjoyed this movie because we're already losing all our time. Let's get to the box office. Budget of this was between 35 and 45. I couldn't find the official number, but that seems about right. Again, there's a lot of like shots in New York. Not a lot, but yeah, I don't know where the budget goes. The movie
most of the time he's in the city, he's in an office or a restaurant.
Yeah, but the movie looks like $1 billion. So
yeah, but again, it's just weird. Like last week, I was blown away that Synecdoche only cost 20, and then this, I'm like a little surprised it could have cost up to 45. But I mean, that was also, Charlie Kaufman, first-time director, and this was like probably a lot of expensive professionals. Plus, I mean, who knows how much like Leo made for the movie.
Exactly. You have 2 giant stars. Kathy Bates probably wasn't super cheap. But, so I imagine a decent chunk went to them. And then like we had the crew, Sam Mendes, Deakins, and Newman, all super talented and probably getting paid a decent chunk of that $35 to $45 million. So here's this. It debuted in 3 theaters in December 26th. So
it's one of those.
Yeah. So is it like I hate this because there's always movies that come out that the critics like review. Like when you do the end of the year reviews, you get all the critics have like in their top 10 all these movies that no one has been able to see unless you live in like New York or LA. This is one of those movies. Came out in 3 theaters on December 26th to be officially a 2008.
3 theaters. I mean, come on.
It grossed $189K in 29th place. It expanded to 135 theaters on January 9th. And then it opened wide January 23rd, 2009 in 1,058 theaters, grossing $5.1 million in 12th place. It stayed wide for 3 more weeks, and then it played in limited showing until late March, grossing $22.8 million domestically. It added $53 million in international gross, though. So it did a lot better overseas than it did here in the States. All right, reviews. This is interesting. On Letterboxd, it has 602 fans. So,
it's not a lot
not
for a
a
Leo
lot.
Kate Winslet movie.
Yeah, not a lot. I think that's maybe the lowest that we've had. I can't remember. But 602 fans on Letterboxd, so that means 602 people have it in their top 4. And to be honest, like I like this movie, but to have it in the top 4, I think you have to be kind of a sick person.
I mean, yeah, for it to be one of your favorites. Like for this to be one of your 4 favorite movies.
Yeah. I mean, we talked so much about the movie and the plot, but we didn't talk how much, like, abortion obviously plays a big role. And I want to say in the 50s, especially where they were at, like 100% legal. There wasn't like a legal place for her to get an abortion. So everything had to be done on your own. And that there's a reason why.
I know it somehow involved a tube. I know nothing more than that. And I don't want to know anything more than that.
For sure.
I'm happy to stay blissfully ignorant about how that all worked.
So it has a 3.6 rating on Letterboxd with 165,000 ratings. So a little lower than I thought it would be, but not too surprising. 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. Angie Arago of Empire Magazine said, handsomely done and beautifully acted, just slightly wanting in a screenplay. At least questions unanswered about what's behind these unhappy people, and it's ultra depressing. 4 out of 5 stars. I don't know. Like, do you have any questions about what made them unhappy?
I don't
get that review. Like, sure, it was handsomely done and beautifully acted. But I think it was pretty clear what was behind what made them so unhappy. So
she resents feeling trapped and he likes feeling trapped because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
They don't work together.
It's the mold for sure. I mean, she's an actress. Like they established right in the beginning that she's an artist, right? She wants more than just a family life. They established that right away. So,
although I do think that they do a good job of like, yeah, she wants to be an artist. She wants to be an actor. And, you know, you see it in her face and her performance in that opening argument scene. Like, the things that Leo is saying are true and she knows it. She just doesn't want it rubbed in her face. I think she knows right then and there acting isn't for her as much as she may want it, which is why she's like, let's just go somewhere. I don't care what I have to do. I'll work as a secretary while you stay at home and read. I just want to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't make my life better by doing something artistically that I want. So let's just, you know, change location, change the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
This sucks. Anything else has to be better.
For sure.
I mean, when she says later it didn't have to be Paris, that's also kind of crushing.
Sure. James Christopher of the Times UK said, ultimately, the performances are rightly more involving than the story. By the same token, the actors are more involving than the film. 3 out of 5 stars.
Snap.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't agree with these reviews. I don't know what to say.
I don't care what this next guy has to say. I just love his name.
Bill Goodykunz from the Arizona Republic said,
oh, man.
Unlike the novel, which you can set aside and take a break, the film version of Revolutionary Road, you're in for the duration, and it's ultimately too much to take. 3 out of 5 stars. Can I just call this guy a pussy? Is that fine? Am I allowed to say that?
I wonder if he saw Synecdoche, New York, if that was too much.
Yeah. I should have found... I really want to find Goody Knutz's reviews on all of our movies that we watch from now on.
I wonder if he has a book like Leonard Maltin.
the Goody
Kuntz guide to film.
Yeah, I hope so. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, said, Frank and April are played by DiCaprio and Winslet as a sad ending to the romance in Titanic and all other romances that are found on nothing more than romance. They are so good, they stop being actors and become the people I grew up around.
Ooh.
That's a lot. He did give it 4 out of 4 stars, though. So he liked it quite a bit. Alonzo Duradell of MSNBC said, both the protagonists are thoroughly mediocre, uninteresting people. And I never figured out why I was supposed to care about the fate of either of them. Can I just say this dude's an asshole? What
yes,
the hell?
You can.
Man? 2 out of 5 stars. I don't know what movie he watched.
I don't know why I'm supposed to care about the fate of this guy.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Alonzo.
Insane. That's an insane take. Insane take.
I mean, don't like the movie. That's perfectly fine. But both protagonists are thoroughly mediocre?
I know. That's insane. That's a bad review. All right. Leonard Maltin on page 1180 says, intense adaptation of Richard Yates's novel about a young couple whose love cannot overcome a feeling of discontent creeping into their supposedly ideal existence in the suburbs of New York City in the 1950s. Gloomy, to say the least. Superior acting by the entire ensemble, including the two stars, reunited for the first time since Titanic in 97. Meticulous craftsmanship can't compensate for lack of character development that one might find in the book. And where do the couple's kids disappear to all the time?
That's a question I had.
2.5
It was
stars.
always convenient that the kids were like barely ever there.
Yeah. I have a trouble with the reviewers that didn't understand the motivations of the characters, because I think it's clear as day what's going on, and the performance.
They're kind of like, it's like archetypes. Like, did we need to know? Like, what else did we need to know? Really?
I don't know. I to me, it was all there. And maybe the book delves more. I looked into the book to see how much different it was. And from what I could tell, it was pretty damn faithful. So
like, I can imagine that there's like more paragraphs of just like maybe just hinting at people's past experiences and all. I mean, like for Leo, really all we know is he was in the war and he had been to Paris before. He worked as a longshoreman. And for her, I don't really know if we know anything about her past, but it's like we see the kind of person she is, and I feel like you can infer how she became this way.
Yeah, crazy stuff.
What did Leonard give it? I don't know.
2.5. 2.5 stars.
2.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is one thing. Like several times during the movie, they're like arguing in the house or whatever, and I'm like, where are the kids?
Yeah. At the end, they kind of mention them a little bit more. We're like, oh, we sent them over to...
Yeah, they were at a friend's house or something, which is fine that one time, but like most of the rest of the movie, they weren't around. And I remember at the very beginning when Leo wants to go out with Catherine Hahn and David Harbour after the play, and Kate Winslet just wants to go home. And she gives the excuse like, I'll tell him it's like something wrong with the babysitter or something. And at that point in the movie, we didn't know how well Catherine Hahn and them knew each other. So I was like, is this a lie? Like, I didn't even realize they had kids. And I don't think we fully realized that they do until like a couple scenes later after he cheats and comes home and they sing happy birthday to him.
Yep.
I was like, oh, they do have kids. I thought it was just a lie before.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you can count on one hand how many scenes the kids are in.
There's not many. Yeah, there's not many. Did it surprise you to find out that there was quite a few awards for this one, or at least nominations?
I mean, I would think for the acting, or like cinematography and stuff even, I guess.
Yeah, so it's mostly the acting. For the Academy Awards, it had 3 nominations, no wins. Michael Shannon was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He lost that to one Heath Ledger.
Oh, yeah.
It was also nominated for Best Art Direction and Best Costume Design.
Did they win or lose both of those to Dark Knight?
Yeah, everything. Dark Knight won everything. No, I think the Dark Knight only won. I think there's only 1 or 2 that year. I didn't look. No nominations for Kate. So that's kind of a crime in my opinion. I don't guess you have the list of who did get nominated in Best Actress. Well, I'll tell you who won that year. It was Kate Winslet for her leading role in The Reader. So
I guess I can't be too mad.
Yeah, so she didn't win. It wasn't nominated for this movie, but was nominated for The Reader and won.
Okay, so if that tells us anything, in preparation for the final episode of this season, when we like catch up on other movies we didn't talk about for the show, I think we probably both have to watch The Reader.
Yeah. So bonus episode. For the BAFTAs, the British Academy Awards, she was nominated for Best Actress. Costume design, production design, and adapted screenplay were all nominated. No wins. At the Golden Globes, was nominated for motion picture drama. Leo was nominated for his performance, his only nomination. And Kate was nominated for Best Actress motion picture drama, which she won. So she did win the Golden Globe. And
for this movie specifically?
For this movie.
Okay.
I believe. I should double check that. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, because it was in this. Yeah, it was for this movie. And Sam Mendes was nominated for Best Director Motion Picture, so didn't win it.
You know the wildest thing? One thing that I did read about this movie is I think the book was written in like the 60s.
Yeah.
And apparently it was optioned and in some form of development since the 60s. Can you imagine what the 60s version of this movie would have been? I know.
It's crazy.
And then it didn't get made until like the late 2000s. That's wild.
Yeah. This is all Wikipedia stuff. Samuel Golden expressed interest in the film adaptation, but other studios told him it lacked commercial prospects, which is kind of true. I mean,
for that time period, I believe that's true.
Yeah, so he went on. Albert Ruddy tried to get the rights. Didn't like the ending, but then went on.
Didn't like that the woman died for giving herself an abortion?
Yeah. Went on
because she hated her husband?
Yeah. Yep. He went on to do The Godfather, worked on The Godfather, so that kind of went away. And then there's a bunch of different people. Todd Field tried to do it in 2001, wanted to do Little Children instead. And then Kate Winslet ended up receiving the screenplay from her agent and read the novel. And then she started working on the adaptation. And that's how Sam Mendes got involved. I think you mentioned that earlier. And she sent it to Leo, and that's how he got involved. So yeah, she was probably a producer on this. But yeah, so I'm gonna pull up the awards here really quick. She won the best actress for The Reader. Wasn't nominated. Angelina Jolie was nominated this year for The Changeling. She mentioned. Meryl Streep was for Doubt. She was awesome in that. Melissa Leo.
I mean, that's fair also.
Yeah, for Frozen River, and Anne Hathaway for Rachel Getting Married. So a pretty stacked category. For best actor, Sean Penn won that year for Milk. Richard Jenkins for The Visitor, Frank Langella for Frost Nixon, Brad Pitt in Benjamin Button, and Mickey Rourke for The Wrestler. I don't know who you'd replace Leo there for. I haven't seen Milk, so I don't know if I...
Milk is good. I don't think... What was the Richard Jenkins movie? I don't know if I've seen that.
The Visitor?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I mean, I'm one of the 6 people who likes The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Sure. This was the big Slumdog Millionaire year. So that was what won Best Picture. Benjamin, this is also when they only had 5 nominations. This is when everyone was like, The Dark Knight should be nominated, but they only had 5 nominations at the time. And I think would end up leading to them expanding more nominations. Benjamin Button, Frost Nixon, Milk, and The Reader were the 5 nominees, Slumdog winning.
Man, I'm so curious to watch The Reader now.
Yeah, I know. Danny Boyle won for Best Director for Slumdog Millionaire. David Fincher, Ron Howard for Frost Nixon. Gus Van Sant for Milk, and Stephen Daltrey for The Reader was nominated for Best Director. Supporting had Michael Shannon was nominated, as we mentioned, but Heath Ledger won as The Dark Knight, with the big favorite there. Downey Jr. was nominated for Tropic Thunder that year. Josh Brolin for Milk, and Philip Seymour Hoffman for Doubt, also nominated. So
it's funny, Robert Downey Jr. was nominated in supporting. Meanwhile, the same year he played Iron Man.
That's right. Yeah, that's funny. It's funny, Tropic Thunder of all movies too.
Yeah.
But so yeah, this is our first chance to really kind of talk about some of the Academy Award nominations. Slumdog Millionaire is one of those movies I definitely need to rewatch because...
Yeah, I was thinking when you said that, that's another one I saw in the theater. I loved it. I owned it on DVD. At some point, I upgraded it to a Blu-ray. I've never rewatched it, but I feel like this will be the perfect time.
Yeah.
Again, when we record our final episode of this season.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to start a checklist.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, The Reader after this episode definitely has to be on that list for sure.
Yeah.
But that'll be a new watch for both of us.
Yeah. We've already locked in all the movies we're reviewing for actual episodes this year.
Yeah. Too late. Dark Knight won Best Sound Editing. So there's the second one. So. All right. Ryan, the question must be asked. Did you miss Revolutionary Road?
I did miss it, and I'm not as elated about the fact that I've caught up with it as I was last episode with Synecdoche, New York.
It's not a feel-good movie at all. But it's a...
And I thankfully saw very little of myself in these characters.
Yeah. All I saw myself was I related to Kate Winslet. So no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I feel the same way. It's an awesome movie. I thought the performances were phenomenal. It's not a movie I want to rewatch a lot. I don't want to go back and rewatch it a lot, but I am glad I saw it. Glad we chose it, and yeah, missed it for sure. So
yep.
All right, so we're coming back next week with, sorry, I got to pull up my notes here. I think we're watching Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
That was my pick.
So come back for a completely different tone, I imagine. I was
going to say, how would you know?
I don't think we're going to have any, I don't think Nora's going to get an abortion in that one. At least
I'm not.
At least an illegal abortion. I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows?
I'm not making any bets. Anything's possible.
I will say, if you follow along with the show, good luck on catching up with this one. It's not available anywhere. You can get DVDs on eBay for pretty cheap, but yeah, no No streamers. So
Visit your local Goodwill.
yeah, maybe check out the library. But physical media, support physical media with this movie, because
Yeah.
for some reason it's not available anywhere. But come back.
Me and my almost 4,000 Blu-rays agree. Support physical media.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it. Until next week, I'm Jesse Munoz.
Ryan Miller.
See you next week for Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.